And we are going to be recording. So just to let you know, we are recording this event. So at a later date, probably a week or two, we will be able to share this event if you want to go ahead and share it with someone else. But first and foremost, welcome to the Michigan Career and Technical Education event, or CTE as we call it. Today we're highlighting the value of CTE to employers. I'm so happy to see so many of you on today, whether you're a parent, an educator, a business. We really hope that at the end of this event, you'll be encouraged and inspired to work with the CTE programs and students in Michigan. My name is Michelle Cordano. I'm the staff assistant to the state director for career and technical education within the Michigan Department of Education. Unfortunately, our state director, Dr. Piles, is not able to be with us today, but he does send his regards, and I know that he's sorry that he did miss it. Again, as we do have a large group, just want to remind you to keep your microphones off. If you have questions along the way, you can place them in the chat. I did drop the agenda in the chat if you want to see what's coming up next, or use that as we go along in our event today. And let's see. I did want to just give you kind of a quick overview of CTE month and the CTE programs in Michigan before we get started. CTE month is a public awareness campaign. It happens every year in February. And so all across Michigan, all across the country, people are celebrating CTE and the achievements and accomplishments of in the programs. And as part of the work that we do, we work very closely with the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, who are also here with us today. We really encourage that engagement across education, career readiness, and workforce development. And we partner on many initiatives, and one is CTE month. So this year we were able to secure a proclamation from the governor. We did a press release. We developed a promotional toolkit that schools could use to really promote their own programs. It was kind of filled with some fun facts, social media posts, graphics. And we also collected 17 videos that highlight CTE students and programs in Michigan. You can see these on the Michigan Department of Education Facebook or Twitter page. I know today we're highlighting a couple of videos from the Shiawassee. So I encourage you to look for those videos. They're very inspiring. And then just a quick overview of career and technical education in Michigan. We do have programs available for both high school and college students in Michigan. In 2021-2022, there were over 106,000 high school students participating in CTE, and approximately 113,000 college students who were either enrolled in CTE courses or declared a CTE program of study. And then in addition to that, we have 1,400 students who are enrolled in CTE early middle college programs. So if you add those all together, you have about 220 students that are currently enrolled in CTE programs that are aligned for in-demand and high-wage careers. So we do have quite a few different programs. We put these into groups, which we call career clusters. And I thought I might just show you these real quick. I'm going to share my screen again. And this is one of our at-a-glance resources that we have. Can everybody see my screen, or can I get a thumbs up, Lee? Thank you. This is one of our at-a-glance documents that just kind of talks about some of the work we do within our office. A lot of what you're going to see on our website are tools and resources for educators and administrators. But I just thought it might be interesting to you, if you're not familiar with CTE, to just see the wide array of programs that we're offering in Michigan. So we've got agriculture, food and natural resources, architecture and construction, arts, AV, technology and communications, business management and administration, education and training cluster. We also have some new exciting programs in education as well. Energy, finance, government and public administration, health science, hospitality and tourism, human services, information technology, law, public safety, corrections and security, manufacturing, marketing, science, technology, engineering and math, or STEM, and then transportation, distribution and logistics. So just to give you, I just thought I would share that real quick. I'm going to stop sharing. So I just wanted to give you just that kind of high overview of what we offer in Michigan, because there are many programs and opportunities for students to acquire the skills needed for successful entry into the workforce or advancement or to continuing education. So I have talked long enough. Thank you. And without further ado, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Amanda Holtzworth. She is the new Executive Director of the Michigan Association for Career and Technical Education. And she's going to be talking about the value of CTE to employers. Amanda, I turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you for sharing those resources, because I'm going to be referring to them as well in my little brief presentation here. So I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see this okay? I'm going to present full screen here. We good, Michelle? Excellent. Thank you. So I'm talking today about the value of CTE to employers. And for those of you, let me see if I can move my toolbars here, who have heard me speak before, you've heard me talk very highly about my dad and my brother. I love this picture from them from several years ago, and I think it's important to kick this off. My brother just retired as a journeyman pipe fitter a few months ago. And my dad is a retired journeyman tool and die maker. And in this picture, my brother had found my dad's papers from his co-op placement back in the 1950s and had them framed. And the difference between their two careers is that my dad was exposed to CTE programs in high school and went right into apprenticeship and earned his journeyman papers in the mid-60s. My brother, even though he had a tradesman father who was always encouraging him to go and get into the trades, of course, like many teenagers didn't, but he also wasn't exposed to it in high school. And it took him more than 20 years on a wait list to be able to get into his apprenticeship program. So I like to start that off because I think it gives a good foundation for differences as when you are exposed to CTE as a high school student and if you're not afterwards. Let's see if I can move forward here. So all this information is available. As Michelle mentioned, I am the Michigan Association for Career and Technical Education Executive Director. And if you haven't had a chance yet to check out the Association for Career and Technical Education's website, or ACTE, there's also some resources. And this is right from the Michigan fact sheet here. So 54% of jobs in Michigan require skills training. So it's more education than high school, but less than a 4-year degree. But only 48% of Michigan workers are trained at this level. So what's the solution? I think you probably all know where I'm going with this one. Career and technical education. As you have highly prepared students, I'm using some examples here. So if I have any of my open schools friends from many years ago, I love this example of this young man who had gone into a CT program because his goal here was to become an oncologist. And so he knew that he wanted to go into the health sciences to be able to get that experience while still in high school. And in this quote here, Zach says, between learning medical terminology and participating in job shadowing in hospitals, I am at the perfect place to start my career. He was 16 years old when he said this. So when you think about career and technical education, and I encourage you, if you haven't already, to check out the OCTE's different career clusters, because it's almost a great rabbit hole that you can go down, because there are so many different pathways and so many different certifications. And when we think about CTE, they're getting this education and then they are getting exposed to different careers before they're even graduating high school. And Brendan is a young man that graduated from the William D. Ford Career and Technical Center in Wayne Westland last year. And he said, this program gave me social and workplace skills, teamwork, how to communicate, explaining thought processes. I want to get a master's degree in computer science and eventually work for a larger tech company. I want to make people's lives easier through technology, and William D. Ford CTC is helping me achieve those goals. So you have some students that know that they want to go on to university and college, some that know they want to go into the trades. I see some very familiar faces in the audience from when we ran the Wayne County Manufacturing Day. And for those of us who were exposed to that, we had more than 9,000 students and teachers in Wayne and Monroe counties over the course of 2 years sign up to participate in the virtual Manufacturing Day. And employers there were offering at the time, particularly with talent shortages, free tours for the students to come on in, to give them calls, to come in and learn about the different career pathways for both college and career. And not only are CTE students highly skilled, but they're taught by industry trained professionals, which is the very interesting part of CTE. You have so many professionals who worked in the field and then have their certifications to teach and are now sharing that knowledge with students. So not only the knowledge of the skill set that they need, but also what it's like to work in the workforce. So for example, and this is from Rochester Schools, thank you for sharing this. Lois Davis from Stony Creek, you can see here, she has a Bachelor of Science in Engineering, a Master of Arts in Teaching, different certifications. And what she did in a past life, I worked for several engineering companies before becoming a teacher. So these teachers are not only helping students gain the knowledge that they need, but they're sharing what it's like to actually work in the field, how to be a professional in the field, and what to expect once they get in the workplace. And then they're also using their own networks to help students gain a better understanding of what they need to accomplish. This is from a CTE alumna from several years ago, said my marketing teacher used to work for the Detroit Pistons and he really prepared me for business school and my future career. So they're getting a really great understanding of what they need to do to accomplish their goals. And finally, one last quote. This is from a CTE student, again, from many years ago, saying about the environment on campus within a CTE program and a CTE high school. I like that deep down, everyone here knows that you will succeed at some point in your life. If it's not now or tomorrow, it will be soon. So the CTE students are also getting the support from all staff and administrators on campus and through their program to help them find the right pathway for them. So, when we talk to all the employers that are here in the room today and are watching this later on a replay, this is actually part of the standard CTE pillar. So CTE students are preparing for future careers through first awareness. So they have guest speakers who come in, they get to do workplace tours, they have career fairs. They also go through exploration. So many do job shadowing and mentorship programs. Preparation, which is any of the school-based enterprises. So maybe it's a business that they're starting or it's a project case study that they're seeing through. Industry-sponsored projects and simulated workplaces. So they're actually getting that experience either on class in the classroom or on campus. And then also with participation, internships, co-ops, and apprenticeships. So picture this, and I come from a marketing background, so this one is very familiar to me. You own a marketing agency and need a graphic designer certified in Adobe Creative Suite who has experience working with clients. I don't know if we have any other marketers in the room, but it took me about a year on my agency side to fill a couple of part-time positions. And when you think of it though, CTE students who are enrolled in marketing, graphics, or communications courses have the opportunity to learn Adobe Creative Suite, and then many earn certifications, including the Adobe Creative Professional, and work on design projects for community organizations. So they're getting these experiences at 16, 17, 18 years old, sometimes a little bit earlier. And with this marketing, graphics, or communications courses, you can actually go on to MDE sites and see under OCTE the different career clusters. And when you click through, you can actually take a look at the different certifications that the career clusters offer. So another example, picture this. You work in healthcare and have a shortage of talent. Well, CTE students who are enrolled in health science can work toward earning certifications such as CMAC, ETC, and MAC, as well as the EMT license. And some students have even worked or volunteered in healthcare settings. So they're already earning these certifications, many at entry level before they graduate high school. So obviously the value to employers is huge when you have somebody who is not only trained, but has the certifications and has experience in the workplace. And I think this is my last one. So picture this: you need more welders to fill the talent gap left by baby boomers retiring. While CTE students enrolled in welding classes through the manufacturing cluster are taught by experienced welders and have the opportunity to earn AWS Sense Welder Series and NCCER Welding Series credentials. And some students may have even completed work-based learning experiences. So again, the value to employers of hiring these students, whether they're right out of school and you're hiring them right into the workforce, or they're going into some sort of apprenticeship or entry-level position where perhaps you decide you want to help support furthering their education or their credentials in different ways, the talent is so ripe and it's already there and they're trained. So CTE students are prepared with technical, academic, and employability skills for success in any workplace. And I have this web link over here, actonline.org/CTE-readiness-4-all-careers. And I'll put in the chat after the presentation, just so you can take a look at, because this is actually a graphic on ACTE's site about the employability skills that CTE students are getting. And as we can see here in the middle, top skills that employers need: while professionalism, work ethic, teamwork, collaboration, oral communications, critical thinking, problem solving, written communications, ethics and social responsibility, information technology application, lifelong learning, self-direction, diversity, creativity, innovation, and leadership. And as we can see here, I won't read through every single one, but we talk about CTE exposes students to rigorous and relevant information-rich content through ContentID reading and writing strategies. And students who participate in career guidance and career courses demonstrate greater knowledge of jobs, higher self-esteem, and better grades, and are more engaged in career and academic planning. Several years ago, when I was working with a CTE campus near my home, I got to talk to an employer who said that he was blown away when a student who was applying for a machining job came dressed up, shirt and tie, and he had an entire portfolio, not only of his work, but of all his skills that he had developed, including his writing skills, copies of speeches he had given, and a portfolio of his work. So he said that he had actually, in so many years, had never seen somebody coming for a machine job so well prepared and ready to get started. And the student had actually already done work-based learning experience at another machining shop. And so he already had that experience going in, and he hadn't even graduated high school yet. So with that, I encourage you to also check out Michigan ACTE. So www.miacte.org to see about partnerships here in the state. And here's my email address. If you have any questions that I can help answer or point you to in the direction of anything on the ACTE site, feel free to reach out to me at any time.
Thank you, Amanda. That was wonderful.
Thank you, Michelle.
Presentation, great information. Again, if you have any questions for Amanda, you can put those in the chat. We'll see if we can get to them sometime today. If not, we'll make sure to follow up with you. Because we do have a large group today, we don't have time to kind of go around for introductions, but if you would just introduce yourself just briefly in the chat, just so we can get an idea of everyone that's here today, just to kind of get some of that networking going behind the scenes, maybe as we move along. Next, we have Selena Mills. She is an education consultant here in the Office of Career and Technical Education. She's also one of our leads in the office on work-based learning, and she's going to talk to us today about the benefits and how to get started. So I am going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Selena.
Thank you so much. So I just want to follow up with what we talked about previously with Amanda and some of the benefits of CTE, but I'd really like to talk about the benefits of CTE to you as employers. So on your screen, you should see a graphic from the Pew Research Center. And one of the best indicators of workplace preparedness for our secondary CTE students is teen employment. So the Pew Research Center has been tracking employment levels since the 1940s, and almost 50% of teens in that time you can see were employed, and over 56% had summer employment, which really is one of the best opportunities for our teens to be involved with an employer if they have multiple activities in and outside of school. But you can also see from the graphic below how those employment levels have kind of varied over the years. And we really hit an all-time low in 2008 during the recession. So levels were just beginning to rise again until the pandemic. And then actually teen summer employment was predicted to hit an all-time low of only 23%. So while we've seen an increase with up to about 35% of our teens participating in some type of summer employment, what that means for us is that still almost 2/3 of our teenagers have no work experience when they enter their first job after high school. So when we look at some of the issues that we have with folks as they enter the workplace and their work ethic, if we look at that data, it's really not surprising. It's really their first time to practice. And so work-based learning, the opportunity for teenagers and college students to be able to participate with employers to get that experience, has a huge, huge benefit. And one of the benefits to teenagers is that it really improves their academic performance. It kind of gives them the why behind why they're learning certain things. And then it also teaches them those work ethics, those soft skills that we talk about, those employability skills, and it lets them practice those. So in the classroom, we teach those things in CTE, but they really get the opportunity to practice when they're out with you as employers. But the benefit isn't just to our teenagers, it's actually to you as employers as well. So when you bring new folks into the workplace, it really offers a fresh perspective. You know, a lot of times our teens ask, why? Why do we do things this way? Why is this happening? Why does it work like that? Why don't we do such and such? And they're really not questioning what you're doing. They're trying to process in their mind how things are working and help that to fit into their perspective and the way that they've learned. And that fresh perspective kind of ripples through the workplace, and it invigorates the rest of your employees. And then that also can increase productivity, that fresh new outlook. And then finally, probably the benefit that we're all familiar with, when you partner with younger people and you bring them in and start to mentor them and teach them in your place of business, it really lets you see what the workforce is looking like. It helps you to develop that worker pipeline, and it really gives you kind of that first opportunity to see who you might want to hire in the future. So in CTE, when we talk about work-based learning, this is kind of the definition that we use. We mean that it is some sort of sustained or ongoing interaction with you as an employer or a business partner around a task, something that happens within your place of business that students are training for in their CTE program and will eventually be able to perform in the workplace as an employee. Now, what that sustained piece looks like really varies. So we look at this in 4 different categories and really kind of a 5th subcategory that you'll see on the screen. So one of the first things that we talk about is career awareness. CTE students enter a program with an idea of what they might want to do, but they have no idea what the world really looks like out there. So for example, I work with healthcare programs, and a lot of our students that come into those health science programs know about the professions, like being a doctor or a nurse, or maybe an X-ray tech, but they have no idea the number of different career opportunities that there exist within a hospital alone, let alone within the whole healthcare system. So one of the things that you can do as an employer when you partner with a CTE program is to help students understand what's actually out there and help them build that awareness. Then from there, if you kind of move over to the right-hand side of the screen, our students are really looking at exploring. So once they narrow their focus a little bit, they need help understanding what the job is really like. And you as a professional can help them understand that. What is the good? What's the bad or the challenging? What kinds of skills do they really need to learn and be able to implement when they get to the workplace? And that way they can decide if it's a good fit for them, and you can help encourage them to grow and come into your profession. From there, we go around that circle and we look at the participation or preparation. So what students are doing when they're preparing for a career is really digging into those skills and learning more deeply. So this is your chance as an employer to help teach them some of the things and help look at what they're learning in their program and develop those skills further. And then finally, we move around full circle to career training and apprenticeship. And in these two types of work-based learning opportunities, students are really getting involved in much more of a sustained interaction with you as the employer. And they're taking the time to really spend time daily or weekly at your place of business and practicing those skills and interacting as if they were an employee, whether that's a paid or an unpaid interaction. Now, you'll see on the right-hand side of your screen, this little circle, and that's because we believe that work-based learning is really a cycle. Sometimes students enter or they learn from you about a career and they go, oh gosh, I don't think I want to do that. And that's a great opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to teach them more about other careers. It's an opportunity for them to continue to explore until they find the right fit. So when you become involved as an employer, you can become involved in any one of those areas. You can help students, explore, you can help them prepare, you can help them train. But how do you know what a student is really able to do? And if you really want to dig in and mentor students and work with them in your workplace, how do you know if that's okay? On your screen, there's a QR code that leads you to a document that we have in CTE called Myth versus Fact. And it addresses some of those myths that we have around whether or not students can actually be in our place of business and what can they do once they're there. Because sometimes some of the biggest barriers that we have are actually ourselves and our lack of knowledge around what kids can do. So you will see on your screen as well that some of our students in CTE are able to participate in occupations that other students can't. They can have experiences that are different from your average student because they've been trained in these specific CTE areas and they've addressed some of those safety needs. And then you'll also see that the instructor or the work-based learning coordinator is there, and they'll be able to help you understand how you can be involved in what students can do. And then finally, there is some documentation that goes with this that helps protect both you and the student. So if you're interested in helping students and bringing them into your profession and helping them with those work-based learning experiences, training our future generation, and really digging in and developing that worker pipeline for your industry, how do you get started? So again, there's a link on your screen to a QR code that leads you to one of our documents that you'll see there that talks about how do I get started with work-based learning. And there's a couple of different ways that we can help you get involved. And we have some partners who can also help you do that. So your role and our ask of you today is really to think about how can you be involved and at what level. So are you interested in helping students learn about your profession? Or are you really ready to bring students into your workplace and help them learn some skills and let them practice? Your level or degree of engagement really depends on your industry and where you're at and what you can do as a business. But there is definitely a way to be involved. So again, identify those needs and your level of involvement, and then communicate with your local school district and your local CTE programs about how it is that you want to be involved and how you might be able to help. And then finally, when you become involved, your job is to provide some ongoing feedback so that our CTE instructors can further develop their program and make sure students are ready to go out in the workplace and participate with you. So again, you'll see these next steps from today. We're hoping that this little brief snapshot into work-based learning will spur you on to make some connections, if you haven't already, with some of your local CTE folks. And on the screen, you'll see a QR code that links you to My School Data, where you can go and find a list of CTE or CPID directors in your area, and they can help partner with you to help you with next steps. And then we'd also like you to continue the conversation. If I've said something here today that you have questions about, or if there is something that you're interested in, but you don't know what to do next, please reach out to us. So here on your screen is the way that you can do that. And we hope that you participate and become engaged in work-based learning if you're not already. It's a great opportunity to, again, develop that worker pipeline, to help students who are getting ready to enter your profession, and to develop our next generation. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Selena. That was a wonderful information. And I'll also put my contact information in the chat as well, if you didn't catch that email. Next, we have Lee Graham. Very excited to have Lee with us today. I know many of you know him as well. He's the Executive Director of the Labor Market Education Committee of the Operating Engineers 324. And I am going to pull up Lee's presentation and share that with you. So you go ahead. You can go ahead and get started there, Lee, and while I get my technology in order to share this for you.
Perfect. Thank you for helping with that. Good morning, everybody. Happy CTE month. Super honored to be on here. A lot of great partners, as Michelle mentioned, that are on this Zoom with us today. Super excited to talk about just the benefits around apprenticeship and then also how to get started. So when Michelle pulls our slide up, we're going to talk about just the opportunities in and around registered apprenticeship. So moving to the next slide, if you could, Michelle. The benefits of registered apprenticeship: every career requires a post-secondary learning, just as college is a path for a doctor or a lawyer. To learn the skills they would need to excel, there are many career paths that are best learned in the on-the-job model. Apprenticeships are often the foundation of these long, rewarding, sustainable careers. They provide both a knowledge base that prepares someone for the challenges their chosen field will offer, as well as hone their essential skills that translates into work and life. With registered apprenticeship, we go a step further. These apprenticeships are registered with the United States Department of Labor. The registered apprenticeships meet the highly developed federal standards and ensure our apprentices have a set of skills that transcend even our state, but meet rigid national-wide guidelines. When someone enters a registered apprenticeship program, they earn while they learn, without accumulation of debt. So we're talking about pairing a workforce that is well educated in these registered apprenticeship programs with the serious need we have for these industries, whether it's in the infrastructure or the advanced manufacturing industry, which has a need not seen in 70+ years. So other paths like IT, hospitality, culinary arts that have been shared today, as some or many others. If we could, Michelle, we'll go to the next slide. As the registered apprenticeship programs are so closely paired with the US DOL standards, they can assure that apprentices aren't only learning on the job, but also the actual career. In the construction industry, an example I use, because it's the one that I represent myself, registered apprenticeships provide the education and technology advancements that make a graduate apprentice skilled in the modern industry, with proficiency and expertise in both the trade and the equipment it takes to accomplish the work effectively and efficiently. Partnerships between the apprenticeship providing institution and the industry helps make sure that these apprentices are learning the standards, safety procedures, and technology actually used in the field. By pairing the classroom instruction with the on-the-job learning and the apprentice gaining practical knowledge, not just through theoretical or even outdated methods. That is why graduate apprentices are ready for careers. They have earned a post-secondary education that has prepared them not only for today, but for tomorrow as well. Next slide, please.
Oops.
How to get started. This is where CTE programs can provide such a vital link in preparing students, the next generation workforce, for these opportunities. CTE programs allow students the opportunity to seek out, learn about, and begin their education in a field that interests them with the curriculum that is tailored to their path. The best instances is CTE programs draw a portion of their curriculum from the same entities that are providing registered apprenticeships upon graduation. Curriculums that have been developed by experts in these fields and with the assistance of the employers that make these careers possible. The employers that make these careers possible, the CTE programs further illuminate these career paths through thoughtful and engaging partnerships. My last slide, if we could, Michelle. When CTE programs offer accessibility to a job, shadowing, boot camps, or best scenarios, pre-apprenticeships, they truly give students a path for entry into their chosen profession and a leg up in succeeding in each respective program. Each program has its own entity and entry of standards. Even in construction and advanced manufacturing, there may be different processes. In the absolute best example, these provide the direct entry paths for a direct interview, direct evaluation into the chosen registered apprenticeship program. But that is where a strong partnership between CTE programs and the apprenticeship providing entities can create a direct path and pipeline to the exciting careers that await them and beyond their apprenticeships. So what I had here at the bottom is that I had put making opportunities with bridging workforce and registered apprenticeships. So we have featured in the slide here the Gordie Howe Bridge, the international bridge. It's the largest, I want to use it as an example, the largest fifth cable stayed bridge in the continent. The towers on both sides will be roughly about 750 feet tall that will span across the water. And the tower cranes themselves will be up almost to 1,000 feet above. The project is to be estimated around $5.5 billion. The project started in 2015 as far as development. The shovels hit the ground in 2019. Once the bridge is completed, the exciting part is that you're going to be able to walk, bike, and drive across. And the completion date is shooting for 2024. Pretty exciting. Michelle, also, I had shared over a video, which I'm hoping we're going to be able to play, and I just wanted to be able to show you about Michigan Construction Career Days. But while she's pulling that up, what I want to share with you is the Michigan Building Construction Trades website, www.michiganbuildingtrades.org. I also want to share with you the Musk Careers, www.muskcareers.org, and we'll make sure that we add these to the chat as well. One of the groups that we kicked off with this morning, speaking on CTE and partnerships on these slides was MASSE, the Michigan Apprenticeship Steering Committee. The Michigan Apprenticeship Steering Committee is an advocacy group made up of professionals from the education industry, manufacturing sector, the construction trades, and the government departments of Michigan. MASSE's objective is to educate Michigan's workforce and the employer groups on the benefits of participation in registered apprenticeship. And in closing with MASSE, the concept of apprenticeship is earn while you learn in a desired craft while creating some of the most marketable, proficient workers found in the labor markets. MASSE provides several resources for individuals to map out a career path of his or her choice, as well as assisting employers in the development of apprenticeship programs. So without further ado, this is last year's Construction Career Days that's hosted with the Michigan Apprenticeship Steering Committee. We had a sellout record number from 115 schools across the state, coming from Gaylord, Benton Harbor, traveling many, many miles to have this most rich experience with our partners from career and technical education, and the schools listed. So our target audience in the past, this is our 15th annual, had been seniors working all the way down through the middle school to 7th graders. So just last year, roughly alone, I think we were at roughly about 3,900 students that was able to partake in this, and the numbers continue to grow. So if you could, Michelle, if you would play that, that would be
Let me know.
awesome.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
You can go to any career fair and talk to schools, training centers, union representatives. This is the only one where you actually get to do the job. And that's why I bring the students out here. Because if they wonder what it's like to be a plumber, be an electrician, be a heavy equipment operator, this is where those questions get answered.
The career in the trades is a great place to start your adult life. Personally, myself, I was a union electrician for many years before joining the educational workforce. So I try to provide the same opportunities for my students that I had going through the building trades.
The biggest misconception about the skilled trades is that it's low-paying work, because it's honestly not. You, within 4 years, can make over $100,000 a year, and it sets you up really well for life.
I can get paid more if I'm doing this stuff, and there's a lot of environment around me, so I would like to be outside.
You know, females should consider it just as men, because it's an opportunity for women to find other interests that, you know, maybe they were told that they couldn't have before, or they just aren't aware of. I think, you know, there's the stereotype that females go into specific fields, but this would open up different opportunities for some of our students to see that they can do other things and still be successful.
I think they're really enjoying like the crafts that they got to do with like the sheet metal. They enjoyed operating all the heavy equipment. They seem to be enjoying that. It gives them a chance to see what's out there and what they'll be doing and what they'll be actually working with and working on, and interact with some of the trades and the unions to, you know, have a path for after they graduate what to do.
This is my first time coming, so it's amazing to see like all the interest in trades, especially now. All the different kids just looking at different avenues for their careers. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, so it's amazing.
An event like this is very important. When you get all of the construction trades together to put on this type of event, that's a very big commitment to the community and to all of the different schools in the area. These children and the adults that come here, and the young adults that come here, are from all over the state of Michigan. So we see anyone from Lansing all the way up to the UP. It's amazing. And it's very important because this exposes them to a career in construction. And you notice I said career, not job. These are careers. These are $150,000 a year careers for a lot of people, depending on what the trade you pick.
Yeah, so it provides a sustainable living. The construction industry provides all sorts of opportunities. In fact, for example, the skilled trades is one of the few opportunities that still provide a pension, for example. Within Barton Mallow, for instance, we provide benefits such as health care, 401k, dental, health insurance, you name it. So the opportunities within it are endless to provide that sustainable, not only income, but something to help your family along the way as well.
They love it. They want to come just because they get to use the equipment. And then afterwards they'll talk, like I said, for weeks about what they did and what they need to do to become an electrician or a plumber, a pipe fitter, or an operator. So it's a fun event for them.
Yeah, they really should. It's really fun. You can learn a lot of things here and experience a lot of things that you probably don't know. Or like if you see something in the game, like, you know about GTA 5? you know how like you could go on a crane and operate and stuff like that? Yeah, you could just do it out here.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend someone to come, or any friends, family.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it, and appreciate everybody on this Zoom celebrating CTE. So thank you.
Thank you, Lee. And also thanks again to Selena, and also to Dr. Amanda Holdsworth for all that great information to get us going into our next section, which I'm really excited about. We have some business and industry testimonials. So we have a few employers with us today who are going to just share some of their experiences with CTE. And I'm going to start with Brian Sheets. He is the Executive Manager of Employee Development, Quality Assurance, Customer Service, and Community Relations. He is with Avalon and Tahoe Manufacturing. And he has a unique experience, both as a student and as someone who now works with students. So Brian, if you could share with us just kind of your experience as both a CTE student and then now as someone who actually hires CTE students, that would be great.
All right. Well, thank you for this opportunity to be a part of this event. I'm a firm believer in CTE as an opportunity for students and employers both, because I've participated on both ends. My background started out in woodshop in high school. I enjoyed making things out of wood, and I had a teacher that really encouraged me, said if you really want to do this and you want to do it well, you need to learn how to read blueprints. And the best way to learn how to read blueprints is to take a drafting class. And so I got into drafting classes, continued to take woodshop classes in high school. And then my drafting teacher basically said, hey, you know, there's a lot more opportunity in engineering than there is in home construction and different things. You really should, with your skills, look at opportunities for engineering. And I share both of those stories because the impacts that teachers can have on students is there's nothing like it. Just those two short conversations changed my life forever. And so I looked at drafting opportunities. I looked at the career technical center that we had. I lived in Holland, Michigan. And so I looked at both opportunities for home building and for drafting, both, put my name in both classes. I was kind of hoping for the woodworking and over the engineering because I just loved working with my hands so much. But with my grades in drafting and math and different things, I was able to get into the drafting program, which now I'm glad for. I still do woodworking on the side. I've remodeled my basement. I've made pergolas and swings and all sorts of stuff. So I've been able to use both careers together. And I think that's one of the things that CTE can do is it not only helps you for your career, but your personal life as well. There's a lot of advantages that can help you there. So anyways, I got into the drafting program at our career technical center, and some of the things that to me were unique outside of my drafting classes that I had in high school was instead of just sitting in class as a single student, the collaboration and the team effort that I learned at the career center, being that we worked on projects together versus just working on a drawing. And so that communication, how to collaborate, how to work as a team, how to work with difficult students, which turns into how to work with difficult employees, right? As you're working together as a team to work through those issues were things that I learned in both my junior and senior year at our tech center that I don't think I would have had in just a regular class in high school. The teacher there for the tech center then opened up the door for co-op opportunities. So I threw my name in the hat, didn't think much about it or what was going to come of it. But I ended up landing a job at a place called Prince Corporation in Holland, Michigan, doing engineering my senior year in high school. So not only was I going to the tech center, but I was working the afternoons at this place called Prince Corporation. They basically made interior automotive products such as center consoles, map lamps, and different things like that. So I was working as a product engineer alongside my technical education at the tech center, hand in hand. Prince Corporation everybody's been impacted by them because they have the patent for the flip down visor with the mirror and lights that everybody uses today. That is standard that wasn't at one time. And so they're the ones that developed that and then marketed that across all sorts of automotive industries. So I got to be part of that. And so it was kind of neat to be on the cutting edge in a job already in my senior year in high school. And that experience was invaluable. Not only did I continue on as I went to Ferris State and entered their program for engineering, but some of the experiences that I had while I was going to college and then working weekends, summer breaks, because they kept me on after, really helped me not only land that job, but keep it, because it was turned in from a co-op into a full-time hire. And while I was at Ferris State, I was involved in a lot of conversations. You could tell the students there at Ferris State, and I think this is one of the things that CTE does too, is it not only prepares you for a job, but it prepares you for that post-secondary education if you choose to go that direction. Because there were a group of us out of these 20 students that had previous CTE experience and co-op experience that we could relate to each other in ways that the other students couldn't. So for example, you'd have some of the other students go, well, why are we learning this? We're never going to use this. You know, this isn't very practical. And those of us that had been through the CTE experience and had been through the co-op experience were like, no, you will use this. We use this every day. You better pay attention, because this is something that doesn't seem like it matters right now, but it will in the long run, because we're already working with it. So we were able to help influence some of the students and encourage them in the training that they were getting that didn't seem practical to them, but we knew from experience that it was very practical. So that helped me land that first job. I worked there for 4 years, again, while going to college. They, I think, kept me on because of the value of what I'd learned at the tech center and through that co-op time, that I could actually do value-added jobs for them. I wasn't just there shadowing. I was actually there working on drawings, working on CAD, working on projects that actually helped the company. So now on this end, that is why I'm a firm believer in CTE students, because I know that they're going to bring value-added work to the opportunities that we have here at Avalon and Tahoe. Our biggest trade that we bring in is our welding students. So we have welding students that come in from the tech center. We have one here in Elma. We also have one in Mount Pleasant. We actually donate extra material for those students to be able to weld on, because we work primarily with aluminum here for the pontoon boats. A lot of the students are working on steel, so we know if we donate that material, it's going to help those students work on a material that's going to make them even more valuable here. I also participate in the career fairs and the open houses at these different tech centers to actually meet not only the teachers, but the students. I actually go to the classes, speak with the teachers and students one-on-one outside of the career fairs. And then we have career days here and times where we actually bring the students in so they can see firsthand what it is like here. So they're touring while our welders are out there welding. We're working with we're working with Mid-Michigan College and with some of our tech centers here in the area to look at sewing as a skilled trade. That's our second area of skilled labor that we hire, are commercial sewers, and they're very hard to find. So we're working on some programs with them right now. So we're not only involved in bringing the students in, but also ways in which we can enhance and grow these technical classes, knowing that it's gonna help those students make a easier transition from education right into the workplace, because it's not a siloed opportunity, but it's a hand-on-hand opportunity to work together to make an actual transition instead of just a step.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian. I think it's such a unique, I don't know, it's unique that you were, you know, once a CTE student and now working with CTE and continuing to promote it. So thank you. Thank you for being here today and for all the work that you're doing. We have 3 more employers that we'd like to hear from briefly. So I'm going to skip around a little bit. I'm going to go to Lisa Barron. I know she said she had something coming up at 11, so hopefully we can squeeze her in for a few minutes. Just a reminder, this event does go to 11:15, so we should have plenty of time. Lisa's with Barron Industry and has been engaged with Oakland Schools Technical High School North Campus. So Lisa, would you like to share a little bit about your partnership with Oakland Schools and your work there?
Yes, thanks, Michelle. And Lee, I really enjoyed your video. And I just want to say that my grandson, who's 3 years old, would also love to see all those diggers, as he calls them, the excavators and the cranes, and he'd watch that all day long. And so I think that is our challenge here, is to somehow continue to promote this enthusiasm for the skilled trades, you know, as the students go through their educational process in elementary and in high school. And, you know, and I think that to the state's credit and also the federal government, we've been making some ground in this area, and we're happy to help in any way that we can, because this not only benefits Barron Industries in that it helps to bring young people into the manufacturing field. And so we are able to attract employees, but also benefits our manufacturing sector as a whole. So I think we are making some gains, and this seminar today is testament to that. As far as our involvement with the OSTC, we became involved at first when Barron became part of the Machining Advisory Committee that is held there at the Oakland Schools Technical Campus, North Campus. And on that committee, we're able to provide feedback to the instructors. This committee is composed of instructors, businesses, even parents of students who are in the technical programs. And so we are asked as employers to provide feedback on the kinds of skills we need to have in our workplace when it comes to machining. We also are asked questions, and we look over curriculum and see, you know, if what the students are being taught are relevant to what the business needs are in these areas. And so we are not only a machining company, we are actually, we make metal components. So we're a full service metal component manufacturer. That means we mix the metals, we pour the metals into molds. And after we do that, then we have, you know, the finished castings. We have investment castings. And then we have secondary finishes that include machining. We also do non-destructive testing in-house. That means we X-ray every part to make sure there aren't defects. We make these metal components for many industries, but primarily for aerospace and defense and space. So as you can imagine, these need to be pretty safety critical components and failure proof. So once we got involved with the committee, we were, you know, we became familiar with what the CTE programs involve. And so we were fortunate to have a couple of the students that were enrolled at Oakland Schools to engage with us in a work-based learning program. And we found that, you know, we're a small business, so we wouldn't necessarily embark or be able to do this on our own, but the people over at Oakland Schools make it very easy. You know, there is forms that we need to fill out. There's a process that you need to go through to qualify to be able to host the students to come in. And so the instructors come in, they tour the facility, make sure it's safe, make sure that, you know, that there will be opportunities for the students. There's also some other forms, I think, you know, Selena was talking about these. They make it easy in terms of, you know, you have students who are able to do the kinds of things that we wouldn't normally hire young people to do, because, you know, there are some safety risks. You're talking about machining, you're talking about manufacturing plant. So, but we, you know, we work with the schools, and there's a process that you go through to get approved. And so it's a very seamless process. We did pay our students. We didn't pay them as much as we pay our unionized employees. So that was also a benefit to us. The students are able to learn while they're on the job. So they would help us in production. They would be a contributing employee. So it's basically a win-win situation. And we've also been fortunate to do, as many employers do, after you have the students from the high schools come in, and we did obtain an apprenticeship, a registered apprenticeship. And we were able also to get a lot of assistance in setting that up through Michigan Works, through the Workforce Intelligence Network, also known as WIN. We had Oakland Community Schools help us a lot in helping design a curriculum, both in the classrooms at Oakland Community College, and also the on-the-job part that is a custom fit for our company needs. So it's not that we have to teach the students, you know, something that we don't really do. I mean, it is a custom fit. So again, a win-win for everybody, for individual employers and for manufacturing as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And I really like how you kind of weaved in all the other partners that are helping. You know, it's CTE, it's education, it's also workforce, like you mentioned, Michigan Works or WIN, the Workforce Intelligence Network. So thank you. I really appreciate your time and that you were here with us today. And thank you again. All right, so next we're going to have, let's see, we've got Rhonda Callahan. She's with Torch 180, which is a nonprofit business. And she has some glowing things to say about apprenticeships, so and CTE. So I just want to ask you, Rhonda, what benefits has your company experienced working with CTE students?
You know, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I actually first really got involved with the CTE program many years ago. I used to be an interpreter for the deaf, and I was interpreting for a deaf student who actually entered the CTE robotics program. And he ended up graduating in 2004 and has gone on to become an engineer and has been very successful. And that started me having a true interest in technical types of training. And so Torch 180 is actually a restaurant and coffee shop. We train individuals who have disabilities for work in the food service industry. They run the coffee shop and the cafe, but we also bring in other people who help us to keep things going. So as we have grown over the past few years, we have worked with Chef Walker over in the CTE program over in Howell, and with his culinary program. And it's a great resource for us in terms of as we're looking for people to come in and be management and to work in some of the other departments, even sometimes to help us with some of the training. And so it's so valuable to get somebody who is kind of a peer with our students, but has the education because they can kind of work with them in terms of, it's a little easier for them to help them with their soft skills sometimes than it is for us when we're trying to train them with the soft skills. And that tends to be such a huge focus, I think, for any CTE program, any program like that. We have a partnership with the Michigan Career and Technical Institute. They are located in Plainwell. We are a satellite culinary training program for them. And we actually have an apprenticeship program that it has been an amazing thing to develop. It is very much, it's a competency-based program that we were able to develop step by step that actually really works with what we're doing here. But also with, as I'm looking at all the different employers in the area and talking with Chef Walker over at Howell High School, and talking about what is everybody looking for. So we've been able to pinpoint it directly for our company, but our students are also becoming very employable to be sent out and work in other places. The apprenticeships, it's such a huge opportunity. And I do want to add, there is so much help in getting those set up and understanding what you need to do and following the process. It isn't, I think it might sound scary sometimes to think about developing one, especially culinary is a really new one for the hospitality field to have that as an apprenticeship. It's fairly new, but you get so much help and support and encouragement, and it opens doors for the people that you're working with. And so I think that the collaboration of everybody who's involved in all these types of programs, I do think I've been reading the comments and getting parents to know that they're out there and helping people to understand that there are a lot more opportunities than only college, or opportunities that could lead to a good college opportunity as well through these CTE programs. And I think for us, the benefit is there's just so many people to talk to, so many people to have as a resource. So many people have been interested in getting involved in what we're doing at our nonprofit. That it's a great collaboration and a great partnership. And I think, if anyone's even thinking about it, definitely look into it and follow through.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. We might have to hire you because you did such a great job promoting CTE and talking about all the great things, the collaboration and everything. But thank you. We really appreciate you being here and all the work that you do with CTE and apprenticeships in the state of Michigan. So thank you. And last but not least, I want to introduce Justin Parmerville. He's coming to us from the UA Local Union 85, plumbers, steam fitters, HVACR service techs. One of the cool things about Justin is that they are the award winner for the Association of Career and Technical Education business partner. So congratulations, Justin, on that award that you received. Can you talk a little bit about your work with the Saginaw Intermediate School District?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I take the opportunity to tell you guys how humbled we are by the partnership award, because it's actually us that probably owes all the CTE programs the award. So for self-interest reasons, the CTE students have actually now crested more than 12% of our total man hours in our local union. Kids that we've taken from the CTE program at Saginaw ISD and Bear and X Skills Center. So working 1.5 million man hours a year, these students are former students are now working at the career, at the trade, and producing 12% of our total man hours. So over 150,000, 165,000 man hours were done last year by former CTE students. So mind you, in our union, our total package is $63.58 an hour. So 160,000 man hours at that wage for these students was a high earning potential. And I'm always pretty vocal and brash about the earning potential that's out there in these CTE programs, because I also came from the CTE program. My dad was in the CTE program here in Saginaw. Now my son is 17 and a senior is in the CTE program and probably also coming for our trade. So our message wasn't being sold. So 15 years ago, they started a welding program back in our Saginaw Intermediate School Districts. So much, many of you know Jenny Gino, who's fantastic to work with on every single thing you can work with her on. And we installed it back in, and our partnership's unique in the fact that our local union provides the 2 welding instructors to the CTE program. So they're both active members that we pay to go there and teach during the school year, obviously. And then also we just started a year ago, this will be the second year of it, an HVACR service program, who's also our instructor teaching that. And that's also unique. That's a growing need, and we were happy to start that. So the students in our CTE program here at the Saginaw Career Complex, because we're involved in several of them, the Bay Area Next Skills Center, the Saginaw Career Complex. Then we also participate with Mid-Michigan Community College that does their CTE programs up in the north, Traverse City. So I have the whole northern half of the Lower Peninsula of plumbers and steam fitters and HVACR service technicians. So we try and involve in all of them, because to be honest with you, like I started this talk was, it's self-motivated. We're cherry picking. We get the best of the best. We're getting them at a young age, which is fantastic, because we're replacing the boomers, the baby boomers that left, being my dad, and there was a generational lapse. So currently out of the Saginaw Career Complex, we've taken 56 former students. Every year we've taken a couple, if not more than a couple. And in one year we actually took a whole class that was strictly out of the Saginaw Career Complex. So there was 14 of them that left high school last week and were in our apprenticeship the next week. And our brand new apprentices start off at $22 an hour on the check, $21.50 an hour on the check, with the total package of $38. So in a 2,000-hour year, they start right off at $42,000 a year in their pockets, and then health benefits and pension on top of that. So we were super excited to be able to offer those opportunities, because we were, and Lee can confirm it better than anybody, that the unions in Northern Michigan were their own best kept secret for way too long. And we didn't tell, that we didn't get our message out, and the CTE programs have provided us an avenue to get our message into these school districts. I tell everybody, you give me 5 minutes with a mom and I can get the student, because every mom wants her baby to have health care and wants her baby to be able to retire, which is, I mean, if you're a parent like I am, of course, you want them to do the best they can. And we all know that not every student is made for college. There's nothing wrong with the college avenue, but my son despises school until he got into the CTE programs, and then it intrigued him, and then there was a purpose, and then there was a want. Now he's up at 6:30 in the morning, ready to go with his work boots on, and he's excited about getting there. So it's been I could go on for hours about how beneficial the CTE program has been to my local union, with that many members contributing to health hours, pension hours, putting a good wage in their pocket, and then, paying the taxes and providing for our community. It's upped our median wage here around our direct schools. So it's been just so beneficial, and some of my thunder was kind of stole, because one of my questions that I had on here were the real world skills when they dress up in the suits. We always can tell our CTE students from these programs when they come in to interview at our JATC, which is our Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee. That's how you get into our apprenticeship programs. They come in and interview, and you're right, they're dressed to the nine. They look everybody in the eyes, they shake hands, they have the whole portfolios built. It's just night and day. And and to be honest with you, I interview all ages, from age 18 to our oldest applicant last year was, I think it was 74 years old, trying to get into the plumbers and steam fitters. And the students that came fresh out of these programs were eons ahead of anybody else. And that goes right to our CTE programs providing the mock interviews, which I also participate in when I'm in town, but all of my agents, my training coordinator, everybody in my staff goes over there, and we donate all our time to these mock interviews, because it's so huge in those skills to go in and be able to represent yourself and provide your information out to the employer. And it's just, it's been such a noticeable difference here in Saginaw for our programs that, like I said, I get excited about it, because I was always upset that the message wasn't getting out there. I was mad that nobody told me. I was lucky to be a fourth generation plumber, steam fitter, lucky to have CTE in my bloodlines, and my son as well. But there were so many people that didn't know that this was even an opportunity. And a journeyman plumber, pipe fitter, HVAC tech, is the earning potentials, is so huge, and has provided so well for my family. I feel like it's my own personal duty to scream it from the rooftop, so everybody has to hear me, that this is a viable option, and you don't have to be a specific type to get in here. We're the taste it, touch it, smell it types, And the CTE programs here in Saginaw just continue to provide us with well-trained, qualified people. We've taken several females out of this program, which we probably would have never gotten without the high school CTE program. They would have never showed an ounce of interest in this, you know, plumbing, pipe fitting, HVACR service industry without the guidance counselors, the career path navigators in the Saginaw Career Complex funneling them. Well, have you thought about this? And our partnership is different in the fact that they come to our training center half of the time. They do their welding and they train there. And one very cool thing we saw happen was when the students first started showing up, some of the members were like, what are these kids doing here? By day 2, the members were taking ownership over the student and wanting to help them and teach them. And it was under their wing. And then when the kids weren't there, my members were actually upset. Well, how come, you know, Joe's not here today? Or how come Sarah's not working with me today? And we saw that, and it just morphed into so much more than I could possibly give you guys in this short amount of time. And I know it's 11:15 is the time frame, but it has truly been the best partnership that Local 85 has had. And we're the oldest labor organization in the state of Michigan. We're 131 years old, and this is the most beneficial, most fruitful opportunity that my locals ever had. And I'm just thankful to be able to keep cultivating it, and we give all we can to them because the proof's in the pudding. You know what I mean? And it's there that it's just successful, period. So I appreciate you having me, and I'd love to go on and on about it, but for the sake of time, I appreciate you having me, and I'm appreciative of the award. But like I said, my members owe you guys the awards for providing us with the members who will continue to pave the way in this local organization for another 130 years.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Justin. Another great testimonial to working with CTE students and programs and apprenticeships, and yeah, and hopefully we can get this message out to even a wider group today. We will make this recording available. It usually takes about a week or two, and I will send a follow-up email just in case there's any questions that were not answered, so you can get a hold of us. But a special thanks to all of our speakers, Justin Palmerville, and we also have Rhonda Callahan. I don't know if she's still with us, Lisa Barron, and then we have Brian Sheets, who was also a CTE student, and then we have our experts, Selena Mills, Lee Graham, we have Dr. Amanda Holsworth. So thanks to all of you for being here today, for sharing your experience with CTE. Sorry we kept you a few minutes over, but I hope you all have a wonderful day, and please stay safe on the roads today. And that's all we have. So thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.